guys. Thanks for staying. I'm going to bring out my producer, Michael Pruss, and editor and Canadian, Jonathan Alvarez.
Thank you all for joining us for the second screening. Does anyone have a first question? Go ahead.
Hi guys, great work.
Thank you so much.
I was just wondering, with the sci-fi film and this and advancements in our technology, did you feel like a film like this was timely today, or was there something that drew you to the story?
Was there something that drew you to this particular story? Did you feel like it was, it was the technological time for you to make something that is like this, futuristic?
Yeah, I think personally, I feel it's very current. A lot of current events that are going on, and reflecting on human beings and who you're able to feel, what you're able to feel about, and all those different aspects. So for me, it's very current. It could have taken place in the past, the present, or the future. So it's really a story about people set in a world rather than a world with people in it.
Go ahead.
So Drake, was it difficult for you to get the actors to really tone down, get all the emotion out of their performance? How did you're used to saying, give me more, or something.
How did you strip down all the emotions of your actors?
Well, they're actually sleeping in the first half of the movie. I just dragged them out of bed and just propped them up. No, it's tough. It was tough to calibrate and get it right, and we workshopped, for a while. I mean, now doing a normal movie where people are just normal seems really easy to me. I mean, that was really hard. That part was the hardest. But they're just phenomenal actors, and we were really careful to try to calibrate the switching on process.
Right back there. Go ahead.
Could you talk about the process of creating this world, the visual look of this world?
Can you talk about the art direction?
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky enough. I mean, Mike, you can jump in too. I mean, we were lucky enough. So we looked all over the world to try to find locations that inspired us, that had a very sort of concrete, clean, sort of Zen-like feel, but also with nature surrounding it, untouched nature, and ended up, in Japan and Singapore, where they have these beautiful, beautiful locations. But as far as the look of the film, yeah, we were really inspired to try to do something really monochromatic, and then let it start to get colorful as the film went on. So, but
I think just adding to that, sorry I have a cold if I sound like it's very strange. The other thing was Drake is a performance, he works so well with actors. Actors respond to his methods and techniques, and we didn't want to just shoot it, in front of a green screen. And, which obviously presents its own sort of set of challenges in terms of performance. So we looked, as he said, all around the world, and we found, we were inspired by an architect in Japan called Tendo Ando. His buildings feature in sort of most of the film, and they're sort of an interesting mix of kind of concrete glass, and we felt, it reflected sort of our vision.
it was really relaxing being there, actually.
I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone in the balcony. So if there's anyone there, you can wave. Sorry, someone yelling for me? You? Okay, go ahead.
Certain of the actors were actors of color, but my question is, the landscape of Caucasians, that we saw them walking, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, unless some of them were Asians, they appeared to be all Caucasian. And I just wondered where you imagined this took place, and why I never saw any, as a middle-class white woman, why did I never see any black figures in that extensive landscape of people? I did see them close up.
Okay, I'm going to let him answer, so have a seat. So can you tell us where you saw this as being set? It was largely a Caucasian cast.
I imagine it to be on Mars. No, it takes place, I actually would have to disagree respectfully. I mean, I think we try to, be very careful about the idea that, we tried to cast it very, carefully, in the sense that, we wanted to reflect the idea in the future that, that we're essentially continuing to breed, and we're mixing together, and we tried to do that as much as we could.
I was going to say too as well, like a lot of those wider shots, it's actually mostly Asian because it was in Japan and Singapore. So I think once you come back white, it's actually, it doesn't, you know, maybe reading it as Caucasian, but it's
Yeah,
a mix
I
of
thought we had a really good mix, actually. Not to disagree with your analysis of that, but and I think that's we went for an eclectic mix of people as represented in our support group as.
Okay,
Well-
we're gonna start another question. Thank you. Go ahead with red hair, I think.
This is actually for Jonathan. So this is actually the second movie I've seen at TIFF where the music itself is a very kind of overwhelming presence in various scenes. So I wanted to know what it's like editing. I mean, when you're editing, you don't really have that music at first. So how do you go about editing it?
Well,
She has an editing question. She just wants to know about the sound mixing and the score and how you edited that in with the footage.
Well, I think Drake can speak to this as well, because Drake is like a maven about music, so it's really particular when we work with temp music and we work with the composer Dustin O'Halloran and Sasha Ring both were involved very early. So music, I mean, as you can see, music is such an important part of the film that we're constantly working with it, whether it's temp pieces to begin with, and then slowly bringing in the pieces from the composer. But it's really fun actually doing it, and Drake and I, this is our third movie together, so the music is super specific, and Drake has a very strong idea of what he wants, and you know, but there's a lot of freedom within that, and it's actually a lot of fun working with that, doing it.
Go ahead in the second row.
Drake, my question is for you. In a lot of the more intimate scenes, there's a lot of technical, there's extreme close-ups, there's shifting focus, there's a very narrow depth of field. How do you maintain that technical aspect without interfering or intruding on what obviously is a fairly intense scene?
So she was observing that the photography was very stylized, but at the same time still allowed for a lot of intimate moments with your actors. And so how did you direct your DP?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to keep the camera far away and shoot it on long lens so they don't feel like the camera's there. I mean, really, to be honest. I mean, we're trying to sort of be sort of behind a wall or behind a beam or something like that. I mean, and we're just rolling constantly, rolling for like 15, 20 minutes at a time. So just trying to capture something genuine. So before the scene starts, there's improvisation. After the scene ends, there's improvisation. So it's, you know, it's a free-form, organic process of, you know, really trying to find something genuine. But between the two of them, I mean, it was just trying to make it seem like the camera wasn't rolling. I mean, there is no action, there is no slate. It's just, we're just kind of exploring a moment, and then later in the edit room, we're executing, essentially.
Thank you.
Go ahead in the front row back there. Go ahead.
Was the story influenced at all by Romeo and Juliet or the rest of Novel Week? And if so, why did you end on a hopeful note?
What were your inspirations? Were there other works of classical
Yeah, I mean,
literature?
obviously,
And
yeah.
why were you hopeful?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, we've heard a lot of the Romeo and Juliet comparisons, and that's fantastic. I think that's great. And hopeful, I mean, maybe it's just the point in my life that I am right now. I mean, my last couple of movies were not hopeful endings. So to have a more hopeful ending is exciting. I mean, I feel, yeah, hopeful about love and romance in my life, and I'm excited about that, yeah.
Go ahead.
So, Drake, I see that you have a story credit, and then it was written by somebody else. So I'm just wondering, what was your pitch, or like, how did you explain it to the screenwriters to kind of get them to write it, and then like, where did he take it from there?
So Drake has a story credit. It came to my attention that I may have said that his writer was also a co-director in the introduction. I don't know if that's true, but they told me I said
Nothing to
this.
do with directing.
I'm so sorry. So the writer of the film is Nathan Parker, but Drake has a story credit. So how did you bring your vision to
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, Mike introduced us. Mike knew Nathan. I had seen Moon and thought he was a really cool screenwriter and really smart. And Nathan really works up here, and I really work here. So together, it was a really interesting combination and different for me and something challenging. So yeah, I just had an idea about a world in which love doesn't exist anymore. And the question was, is it really the reason for our existence? And I think in exploring that idea, the answer is overwhelmingly yes.
Go ahead in the front row.
Yeah, could you talk about your use of color? Obviously the landscape is pretty much white, but with the lighting especially,